Hello, everybody. Look at Handsome and Gretel. Hi, Handsome and Gretel. Hi. Look at those eyes. Didn't y'all miss Pablo? Did you miss Pablo? Yeah, he's a good boy. Well, I am back, rising from the ashes. Your old buddy Josh from Milton, Georgia, like the phoenix risen because I was a bad boy, bad boy. I explained it on my email list. What happened if you're not part of my email list? Well, how dare you? And you can find the sign up. It's free. On the videos. The first link in the video is the way you can sign up for my email list. And every time I get banned, I usually do more emails. I don't do a whole lot of emails. I mean, sometimes once a month, sometimes a couple times a week. Very rarely do I do them a couple times a week, especially when I'm writing my books. The email, you got to think this stuff through. And when you're writing emails, there's less time you're writing your books, if that makes sense. Now, sometimes they coincide nicely. So there's content from the books you're writing. So let me just share with you real quick where I'm at on my book. Relax. I literally came up with this. Relax and retire. Debunking inflation fears. I came up with that. I think this is it. Yeah. And so we're already got charts on top of charts, tables on top of tables. All right. I've already got, let's see, go to tools, word count. Already got 4,400 words, and I'm only in my second chapter. So what I do is I just start spewing stuff from my head, and then I come back and tighten it up. You know what I'm saying? But I love it. I love it. It's gonna be fantastic. Relax and retire. Debunking inflation fears. Welcome back, Kata. Hope the incisions from the facelift are healing well. No, I was actually pregnant and I didn't want to have an abortion, so I sent away for 10 days because we can get pregnant. Anyway, so I got to lose some weight though, man. I've been down and out for about 2 weeks. Finally starting to feel better. I mean, I had a sinus infection, turns out, and I tell you, I was freaking call me Snotty McGee. You remember Scotty Pippen from the Bulls? A friend of mine used to call him Snotty Drippin'. I always thought that was funny. So I was like freaking had more snot than Snotty Drippin' did, man. It was crazy. Everybody was like, "What the hell is happening?" And so finally got an antibiotic, and it seems to be healing better now. Finally, my ear was I didn't do any videos in my other channel because I literally couldn't hear anything on my right ear. And it's weird to talk. I didn't like it, man. It's weird to talk. So anyway, but now I'm back, and I still got snot. So if I snot a little bit today, you've all done it. My ear's still a little bit off. It's weird, man, but it's all good in the hood. But I haven't worked out. I haven't done any walking or anything. My throat was killing me for like a week, man. It was like, damn. And then that finally started going away, and then just snot was everywhere. I was like, dude, I got to quit smoking. And I said, I haven't smoked in 35 years. I don't know where this is coming from. So all good, all good. If you haven't subscribed to my other YouTube channel, it's just Josh Scanlon. And some of you guys might be on here. 13 of y'all are on the Josh Scanlon page right now. And the rest are on the Heritage Wealth Planning. So I got both my channels, and I'm on Facebook too. Both my channels up and running because of just in case someone called it cute humor. If he's on here, he called it a burner channel. I thought that was pretty cute. It's a burner channel. And then of course I'm on Rumble, on Locals. I love Locals, man. Locals kicks ass. I follow everybody on Locals, Michael Yon, People's Pundit, Viva Frey, Robert Barnes, those guys. Lots of people on Locals. Big fan. And I think Locals and Rumble are aligned at the hip. So look, at the end of the day, I like YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I make a living off YouTube, and YouTube works. It's just all there is to it. I get all the alternative stuff. I get it 100%. And at some point, it probably to be my my wish I would have been more active on other channels. But YouTube is easy for me, and I like it. And I'm on it. I don't really read many blogs. I just watch videos. You know what I'm saying? And right now, on my phone, my Amazon Kindle, I'm reading a book on so I don't really read that much in terms of like blogs. I don't read hardly any financial blogs unless I'm writing a book. I just don't care, frankly. I do read financial related charts or white papers and whatnot. I actually got a bunch up here. I read a lot of that stuff. The blogs itself don't really do much for me, but I'm reading on my Kindle. So I have a fiction that I'll read right before I go night nights, and then I'll have a regular book I'm reading during the day. I'm sitting on a pod or something like that, and this is my man Mark Devlin. I forgot what it's called actually, but he talks about musical truth, exposing the mind control of music is fantastic. Let's put it this way: for those of you who think Elton John is a breath of fresh air, that guy's a clown. That guy's a scumbag. Jimmy Page, scumbag. Lots of people. David Bowie, scumbag. Lots of people, scumbags. George Carlin, scumbag. These people sold their souls. Literally, I literally believe they sold their souls to the devil. 100%. And now that's why they got. So I don't know about Jimmy Page or who's the other, or Elton John, but David Bowie was nuts. George Carlin just an angry man. Because I think what happens is they get rich and famous and they recognize this is it. It's a Faustian bargain, man. It doesn't do much, and don't do that. Don't sell your soul for rock and roll. I'd rather be poor and with God than rich and with Satan. And remember, the devil lies. Can we just always remember that? The devil never tells the truth. He's not obligated to tell the truth. And so, if he's got to lie to you to get you in his domain, he's going to do it. I will bend. Yeah. Hey, right on. Wearing his t-shirt inside out, man. Right on. Is my t-shirt on it? So on the inside, it's right side in. All right. Right on. Cool. I will bend to the PC gynocentric majority. I don't even know what gynocentric majority is. Is that women? I guess. All right. So all good in the hood here for sure. Just again, still just a little bit blah, blah, blah. It's gonna be 94 today. Hot. Just got back from taking the dogs for a walk with my wife, and it's starting to get hot. But next week will get cool. So we've had a nice cold spell. Last couple of days got hot, and then fall is here. So all is good. All right. So what? Yeah, my man Rick said he pulled out a 3-inch PVC pointer. Those 3-inch PVC pipes now cost a hell of a lot of money. It's funny. Before they were quite cheap. You could buy all. Now you can't even buy. I mean, a lot of this PVC stuff. Your couplings and stuff are hard to find anymore. It's crazy. All right, so what do I want to talk about here? Oh, I want to share with you guys if I can find it. Nope. Yeah, right here. All right, sweet. All right, so we're going to talk about Pablo, this retirement confidence survey. And this is from EBRI, and I'm a huge fan of the Employee Benefit Research Institute. Huge fan. I don't know who Greenwald Research is. I have a sneaky suspicion I won't like Greenwald Research because there's a lot of Greenwalds in the DC area that are clowns that I just don't like, that are on not serving good, if that makes sense. Sad, actually. A lot of them were on the Hillary Clinton campaign, and I want to say enough that I have a sneaky suspicion there are probably a lot of similarities there. But I do like EBRI. And now the funding of this, no, we're not doing that, Pablo, was funded by all the, come here. We're not doing that. No, sir. Come here. It was funded by all the big gigs: Fidelity, JP Morgan, Jackson National, American Funds, Mutual of America, New York Life. Is that Principal Group, PIMCO, or it's Prudential, T. Rowe Price? Anyway, I don't know what Liga is right there. BlackRock, interesting. Oh, thanks, babe. Anyway, so a lot of the people fund this are the purveyors of doomsday in retirement, which is just amazing to me, because he's seeing people who promote the doomsday stuff. When they actually do these surveys, it comes up there is no doomsday stuff, man. It's crazy. Once I understand hypergamy, solipsism, oh boy. Don't make my head hurt. It already hurts, man. It already hurts from some of the stuff I'm going down, some of these rabbit holes I'm going down. And once you go in the rabbit holes, you'll never come back. I'll probably save that for another day. The thing that's on the top of my mind of, let's just say, distances. Let's just put it that way. All right. So I want to go in this right here. The Retirement Confidence Survey is the longest running survey of its kind in measuring worker and retiree confidence about retirement. I had to get a chuckle some here. They surveyed 2,600 Americans. It was conducted online. So it's online, it's not legit in this day and age. But dude, online surveys are just as legit anymore. As I just look. Trust me, I got to be careful what I say, but Fulton County voting, that's done not online. Yeah, right. That's done in person, and that was legit. Fulton County, Georgia. All the votes counted. All respondents were 25 and older. The survey included 1,500 workers and 1,100 retirees. They included an oversample of the 57 flavors, which I thought was interesting. I mean, why would you have a survey of 2,600 people, of which 800 were 57 flavors? That's odd to me, but okay. But we know why, because that's where the money is, man. A lot of those 57 flavor people have no kids. They have disposable income, and as such, the industry is going at them like white on rice. And frankly, I don't blame them. I mean, if you got no kids, you're gonna have a hell of a lot more money than people don't that have kids. But I found that weird that 807 of the sample were the 57 flavors. It just seems weird to me. But whatever, I will go with it. I don't care. I mean, people do what they gotta do. I just chuckle. All right, Americans remain optimistic about living a comfortable retirement. How? And there's a couple tidbits in here that are actually quite important. I want to go into. How dare they? How dare they remain optimistic? Don't they know what's going on in Ukraine? Oh my goodness! Unchanged from 2021, over 7 in 10 workers are at least somewhat confident, including 3 out of 10 who are confident. So if you are working digging ditches, 70% of you are somewhat confident in your ability to live a comfortable life in retirement. Retirees are almost 80% confident they'll have enough money to live comfortably. All right. 80% of retirees are confident. Now, there's other studies that show the exact same thing. Gallup does studies, other HRS, I can't remember, but there's other groups that do studies, and it's all the same thing. All the same thing. And let me just share with you one thing from my book that I just gotta kind of chuckle at. And again, this isn't done, not even close at all, but I want to show you something here. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. All right. All right. Here. Nope. We want to go right there. Nope. 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 Hold on. Hold on just a second. All right, right here. So public assistance went down from 2009 to 2014. It went down from people who were 65 to 74 to people who were over 75, and this is in real dollars. All right, so 319 and 2009 dollars. If you're in the age bracket of 65 to 74, it actually went down to $233 5 years later, and 2014 dollars. Interesting. And then this is a big one: home ownership stats. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. 82% of homeowners in 2009, 82% of people who are 65 to 74, I should say, were homeowners, of which 52% of all people who are 65 to 74 not only own their home, but they actually had no mortgage. All right. So 52% of all households were the age of 65 to 74 had no mortgage. And 82% of all households were the age of 65 to 74 own their own homes. And this is in 2009. All right. So about 18% of the population is renters. All right. And those are the people that have more concerns, but that's not generally speaking who our target is, because if you're renting for a reason, generally speaking. A lot of those renters are on Section 8. Not all of them, but a lot of them are. Fast forward 5 years, home ownership fell from 82 to 80. Not a big significant, but it did fall. But 66% of all households over the age of 75 had no mortgage. Right? So 80% of all households who were over 75 had a house. Of that 80%, not of that 8%, of total households, 2/3 of every three people, two out of every three households over the 75 had no mortgage. They own their home and no mortgage. So there's no evidence at all, again, there is none, man, that says as people age, they run out of money. Their evidence just isn't there. And that they're eating, freaking cat food. The evidence is the exact opposite. Americans remain optimistic about living comfortable in retirement. 8 out of 10 retirees are confident they will have enough money to live in retirement. And these are the people who are in retirement. This is post-COVID stupid stuff too. The pandemic's over. Pandemic's over. But not for the unvaxxed. It's going to be a deep, dark winter for you unvaxxed people. I better be quiet. Anyway, so let's see. I'm going to keep going down. Key findings. Many believe their households or financial needs are different. Right, 100%. So a lot of people say, oh my goodness, my household needs are different than anybody else's. It's not necessarily. I want to keep going down here right quick. A lot of people don't know who to go to trust for financial planning, don't care. Retirement planning, I care, but that's not what I'm trying to care for this right here. The median expected age for workers and the median expected retirement age for workers is 65, but the reported actual retirement age for retirees was 62. So a lot of people think they're going to work until they're 65. However, the median shows they don't, that they retire at 62. I thought that's pretty interesting. So I would suggest you plan for 62, not 65, if that makes sense. Key findings right here. Most retirees report their overall lifestyle and expenses are as expected. However, up from last year, 1 in 3 find overall expenses to be higher than expected. Yeah, that makes sense because of inflation. But you get that 4 in 5 retirees reported that their overall lifestyle is as expected or better. 80% of retirees report that their retirement is as expected or better. 25% of people say their retirement lifestyle is better than they expected. Those are virtually identical to previous years. So 1/4 of retirees said their retirement is better than they anticipated. Of course, 80% of that total group say their retirement is as expected or better. 36% of retirees say their overall spending and expenses are higher than expected, which is an increase from last year. That would make sense because the stupidity on inflation. When asked about their top priorities for discretionary spending, almost half of retirees cite travel. Interesting. That is their priority for discretionary spending, travel and entertainment. So if you get worried about discretionary spending, don't take that trip to Italy, for heaven's sake. Right? But I want to take a trip to Italy. Yeah, you can't have everything you want, man. That's what economics is. It's about scarcity. You have to make sacrifices. You want to buy a freaking piece of gum, inherently you can't buy a piece of candy. When I was growing up, we'd only go to church on Easter. We never went to church other than Easter. We go to, I think it was St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Portland, Maine. We'd take the boat in. And for some reason, oh, dude, I used to hate it. I hated it it was the worst. So we'd have to get there and we sit there in this long thing and they'd open up the door like Jesus was knocking on the door. The whole thing was this big. My dad loved it. I don't know about my mom, but my dad, he just loved the choir and all that. Anyway, it sucked, dude. And I hated it. But anyway, long story short, that was the one day out of the year we could eat McDonald's. So we'd leave we didn't have a car, so we'd walk. We had to walk from the boat all the way up to wherever the hell St. Luke's Episcopal Church was. It was uptown someplace. Anyway, so you're walking back through Congress Street. Yeah. And they had this crap old McDonald's there. It was, freaking drunks and skunks. And, Portland used to be a crap hole, dude. It was freaking nasty. In the 70s, Portland was nasty. Anyway, so you'd have to dodge drunks and, people pissing their pants and whatnot. But I always remember my parents would give me I could have one dessert. either a shake or a caramel. I can have whatever I want, but I like two things. I like the caramel sundae and I like the vanilla shakes. I said, man, it was said. I remember just coming out from church thinking, what do I want to get? What do I want a shake or a caramel sundae? And I always defaulted with the shake because it's bigger. You know what I'm saying? But that's scarcity. If you have a caramel sundae, inherently you cannot have the shake. If you have the caramel sundae and you blow through it because it's pretty small and then don't put much caramel on there, you're like, man, I should have got the shake. You know what I'm saying? So I always went for the safe bet, which was always the vanilla shake. And then I dipped my French fries in there. That and then basically my mom used to say, yeah, McDonald's put something in there because anytime we ate McDonald's, it made us the kids would go crazy. We'd be like, nah! And so she thought they put a lot of sugar in their stuff, and it turns out she was right. Ketchup is tons of sugar in ketchup. Isn't that crazy? High fructose corn syrup and stuff's nuts. Anyway, so that's scarcity. You got to pick and choose what you want. You can't have everything you want. So you get, oh, by the way, the guy from Rolling Stones, Ryman, dude, scum bags. When that guy was 45, he was hooking up with a 13-year-old girl, allegedly. Ended up marrying her. 45-year-old freaking putz hooking up with a 13-year-old girl, allegedly. I'm just reading from what the book states, and then ended up marrying her. Friggin' scumbags, dude. I mean, these are sick people. Sick. That's Ryman with Bill Ryman or Wyman, something like that. Dude, nasty. These are some nasty people, man. Oof. Some guy named Aleister Crowley. I know Ozzy Osbourne had written a song about him. I didn't know, but apparently all these guys are like, man, Aleister Crowley, that guy's a Mac Daddy of all Mac Daddies. I'm like, who the hell? I don't want to know. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know the dark places these guys had to sell their souls so they could get famous. Crazy. Scary, man. You wanted to did Kim Kardashian. I mean, why would Kim? I don't care. I'm just like, why would this chick? She's not even very good looking. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just because you got big boobs, anyone got big boobs. Why would that chick become famous over, Kardashian? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because they serve a purpose, obviously. And the purpose is what? To advance bad stuff, for sure. Not to advance the good, true, and the beautiful, to advance bad stuff. So anyway, I'm just like, I never understood this whole Kardashian thing. It's like, what the hell? These chicks aren't even very good looking. If they're smoking hot, it's one thing, but they're like nasty. They're skanks. I don't get it, man. I'd never understood that whole appeal of that. And my wife doesn't watch. No one watches, but I was like, what's the big deal about this? You know what I'm saying? It's weird to me. What's her name? Whitney Houston. That woman was friggin' insanely gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? And could sing. I get her. I mean, friggin' one of the most beautiful women of all time who could sing like one of the friggin' best singers of all time. I get her why she'd be center stage, but the Kardashians, weird. I don't get it, man. I never understood that, thankfully. Because if I understood it, I would probably have to, I shudder to think. All right, let's keep going. Because there's a couple other things in here that are pretty, oh man, my nose itches. Gotta stop snorting. I'm snorting the table. Retirees report planning for health and long-term care is a top financial priority. Nearly 2 in 5 retirees say their health and dental expenses were higher than expected, which is comparable last year. About 1 in 5 retirees report long-term care expenses that are higher than expected. Separate from spending on routine necessities and bills, almost 1 in 3 retirees say they continue to reserve money to ensure they have enough for health and long-term care expenses. That makes sense. Anyway, so 1 in 5 say expenses are higher for health care than they expected, 20% higher than expected. No, I mean, that's, that is what it is. And the way you deal with higher costs is you have money set aside. Now, it doesn't say how much higher, just as it was higher. Let's keep going. Oh, right here. As in 2021, slightly more than 7 in 10 workers are confident in having enough money to live comfortably in retirement. All right, so we got somewhat or very confident. And you can see from 1993 to 2009, it went from 74 to 54, from 54 to 73 in 2022. So basically, 3 out of 4 workers are confident in having enough money to live on comfortably. And over 1 out of 4 are very comfortable, very confident. That's pretty good. But then we go to retirees. 8 in 10 retirees are confident. And it's been like this since 1993. 76 went down there in 1994, went down there. But more than 2/3 of retirees have always been confident in their ability to maintain their lifestyles. And then very confident is a third of people of retirees. I mean, these are people who are living it, man. So basically, 80% of retirees are somewhat confident or very confident. Of that people, a third of them are very confident. And they're the ones living it. Even though they're saying a good amount, 20, 25% said they're spending more on healthcare and dental costs. Kind of interesting. I don't care about that. Let's see. Right here, I want to do who feels less confident. I want to show you something right here. I want to go. There's another thing right here. Right here. People who feel less confident, inflation costs of living increase. That's what makes them less confident. Is inflation costs of living increase. That's interesting to me. I have to. That's one of the reasons I'm writing my book. Relax and retire. Debunking inflation fears. All right, interesting. So let's go. Let's keep going. Now, look, 16% they feel less confident because of COVID. I was talking to a lady yesterday. I've had this case on occasion where her kids are very hesitant to let her near her grandkids because they're still so scared about COVID. I said, this is still, they're still wearing masks outside, wearing masks in their house. I was like, this is still happening. I mean, there's a decent proportion of population, probably 12%, if not 15%, who are still frightened of COVID. And they're young too. That's what's scary. It's like, what is happening? Nothing you can do about it, though. About 3/4 of retirees who feel confident in their ability to live comfortably is due to having money in savings and good investments. Interesting. So if you felt more comfortable, is because you had money in savings or having good investments. We know it's money in savings. Half of retirees who felt less confident said it was due to inflation. Isn't that interesting? Huh. Because I bet there's something else why these people feel less confident. Let's keep going down. All right. Again, most retirees expect they'll have enough money to take care of their basic expenses. We already talked about that. Wait, hold on just a second. There's a couple other charts I want to go through here. All right, right here. About half of retirees state planning for future health and long-term care needs is literally their top number one issue. Not half. One of the top three. Their number one issue is the worry about long-term health insurance, healthcare stuff. Isn't that crazy? Because they have everything else. They got their house paid, no debt, cars are paid. The one thing they don't have control over is their health because they don't know. It's the fear of the unknown, and I get that. That doesn't mean they're wrong. Just once you get to that level of you climb the mountain and you're looking around, you're like, the only thing I can't conquer is my health. I just don't know. Now you can do things to get better shape, but other than that, you don't know if you're gonna have a stroke. You don't know if you have a blood clot. You don't know if you got Alzheimer's, whatever. It's sad. All right. Well, there's a couple other charts in here. Then we'll open it up here. I want to show you something right here. Oh, yeah, right here. Nearly half of workers, not retirees, workers, say debt has negatively impacted their ability to save for retirement. Over 1 in 4 retirees say debt has impacted their ability to live comfortably. All right, so half of workers say debt has negatively impacted their ability to save. 25% of retirees say debt has impacted their ability to live comfortably. Look, I'm just throwing it out there, man. If there's one constant variable, it's the debt. If you don't, look, I broke a record, I get it. But you never know who's new here. Debt is the enemy. Get out of debt and it'll free you so much. I hear it so many times, my friends. you can leverage. And I had a guy on the thing, the channel, and he's Thomas Petty. He's like, oh, I'm loving my debt. It's 3.25, and I'm making more than that investments. I said, dude, great, great. You want to take the risk? More power to you. I would never do that. And I always chuckle too when somebody says, when someone says, yeah, I want to take a cheap mortgage and I can invest the rest. I said, so you should have no equity then. You should be 100% loan to value. Might as well borrow 100% of your house and have an interest only loan and invest the rest. And no one's going to do that because it doesn't make sense. At some point, everyone wants to have no mortgage. That's just a fact. Um, yeah, Marie says she mostly sees young people. I mostly blacks down here. I don't, and that's one of the things one of these days I'll do a video just asking black people, like, why? You don't trust the CDC because Tuskegee and all that. I 100% get that. But yet, for some reason, you trust, this thing. I gotta be careful because I just got banned for this exact conversation. I said, I don't get it, man. I just don't understand, like, why you don't trust the CDC for other things because that group of that population is the least, at least my understanding, rightly so, given what the experiments were done on these poor people. But why do you trust what they said about that? It's the weirdest thing to me. I don't get it. Around here, I'd say of the we got a lot of Indians and they wear masks, but it's the blacks. I don't understand. I've never understood why this and not that. Doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why do you think wouldn't they be telling? Whatever. I'm not black, so I don't know the answer. I don't know. But I've noticed that since day one, actually, since they started talking about this, about getting ready for combat essentially against the flu. It's weird. Again, I'm trying to watch what I say. I just found that weird. Interesting. All right, let's keep going here. So debt again. Right here. Compared to last year, more than half of workers and 1 in 3 retirees say their level of debt is a major or minor problem. This is what I want to point out right here. Retirees, 65% say debt is not a problem. That doesn't mean they don't have any, but I bet you could probably make a case they don't have any debt. 65% of retirees say debt is not a problem. A quarter basically say debt is a minor problem. All right. So between a minor problem and not a problem, I mean, that's 80 freaking, what's that? 89. No, that's 91% essentially. Say debt is a small or not a problem at all for retirees. Amazing. Thus, why do 8 and 10 retirees feel pretty comfortable? Because that right there. And when you pay off your debt, you can focus on other concerns, which is healthcare. It's just that simple. Here we are, workers. Think about your current financial situation. How would you describe your level of debt? It's a minor problem. Only 44% of workers say it's not a problem. Yet 56% say it's a minor problem or a major problem. See what I'm saying? So I say for me, it's a major problem because I have some. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I have some. Thus, it's a major problem. It's my number one hate. I don't hate things other than debt, and I brought that on myself. It's my number one thing I hate more than anything. Yeah, you can make a case for it. Well, I get all that. I mean, I'm not saying it's debt in of itself is not evil. It's like social media is not evil. Money is not evil. Firearms are not evil. None of these things are evil. They're inanimate objects. It's the use of things that is evil by human beings. So for me, use of debt is allowed me to be in this house. I'm happy for it, but I still hate it. I still hate the fact I have it. I want it done. I want it done. I want its friends done. I never saw that stupid movie. No, was that with Elliot Ness, with what's his name, Robert De Niro? I want him dead. I want his friend dead. I want his family dead. You know what I'm saying? That was actually pretty funny. All right, let's keep going. People don't know where to go to financial advice. Yeah, okay. Hold on a second. Hold on. Don't care about that. Workers and retirees. Okay, don't care. Don't care. Don't care. There's something else I wanted to. Hold on a second. I thought there was something else I wanted to see in here. All right, half of workers expect to retire at 65 or later, differing with the majority of retirees who retire earlier than 65, 100%. That was pretty interesting. All right. Workers continue to be much more likely to expect to work in retirement than retirees actually do. So a lot of people say, I'm going to get that part-time job, but then they're like, nah, I don't want to. And it's actually interesting because remember, you thought you're going to work part-time in retirement and then you don't, and yet you're still happy in retirement. 80% of retirees are happy in retirement, they're comfortable in retirement. And yet you thought you're going to have to get a part-time job to make ends meet as a worker. Like, I guess I'll go dig ditches for 20 hours a week. Turns out you don't. And it turns out you're still comfortable in retirement. Who would have thought? Crazy. How dare they? Hold on just a second. Yeah, nearly half retirees said they retired earlier than they expected. 100%, man. Did you retire earlier than you planned because you could afford to retire earlier than you planned? Look at that. There are changes that downsides to a company, probably getting bought out by Mitt Romney and Bain Capital. Right here, consistent with last year, more than half of retirees think their lifestyle is about where they expected before they retired. All right, so check this out. In 2022, 53% of retirees said their lifestyle was as expected. 18% says somewhat better. 8% says much better. So that's 26% said it's better than expected. 21% says worse than expected. So again, we're seeing this same thing over and over and over again. We get about 20% of the population that they're not going to be comfortable in retirement. And we got the rest that will be. And yet we focus on that 20%. This is the thing with the uninsured, with basically nationalizing healthcare with a single payer. We ruined the whole business model to focus on a small percentage of the population, about 3.5 million people that were uninsured. And a good amount of those people are still uninsured because it's kind of like putting up houses for the homeless. A lot of homeless people don't give a crap about your stupid house. They're still going to be homeless. It's by choice. So you're going to tax. You're going to destroy your commerce activity in downtown to build up a bunch of homeless camps. And the homeless people say, I don't want to live there anyway. I'm going to go do my own thing anyhow. It's crazy. And the same thing with the retirement thing. The 401k is broken. It's not broken. It's broken for some people. For the vast majority of us, it's just not broken. It's not a broken system. And yet they continue to pound this because I just, and this is what drives me crazy about these surveys. It's the big companies that are sponsoring these surveys that show you that people are happy with their 401k plans. There's just no two ways around that. And yet these big companies, they're aligning themselves with they're getting in bed with the freaking, essentially the version of single payer, not for healthcare, but for retirement planning. Let government do everything. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to me. And I don't understand why they can't. I get it. Because, my industry isn't full of thinkers. There's a few, but very few are actually thinkers in my business. They're just money managers. That's it. And as such, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They can't see the obvious, which is they're trying to take away your business, dude. They're trying to put it all in the government to allow the government to do everything, and we don't need you. And yet they keep throwing in like, oh, we're not. It's kind of like the freaking hospitals and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like the AMA. Like, oh, if we just kiss the jack heel of Fauci, he'll leave us alone. No, they don't. They don't leave you alone. You see what's going on in Europe now? They're nationalizing oil concerns and energy concerns. You think that's by happenstance? That was, of course, planned for. 100%, man. The Green New Deal, the Great Reset. We're going to nationalize energy concerns. Yeah, the whole thing is completely from point A to point Z, completely constructed via conspiracy. Conspiracy just means people getting together. Doesn't mean it's evil, but this is what it was. Conspiracy to nationalize businesses, to reduce consumption for their citizens, and basically get them to lick the jackboots. You see the mile away, man. I actually did want to share this with you. This is a pretty interesting article I was reading. White paper. So I do like some white papers. I just don't like basic blogs on stuff. This is right here. research paper, a comprehensive look at empirical performance of equity premium prediction. And I'm going to do another video on this because, look, I'm just going to share with you real quick. Our paper re-examines whether 29 variables from 26 different papers published after 2008, as well as the original 17 variables, were useful in predicting the equity premium in sample and out of sample. Our samples include the original periods in which these variables were identified, but later ends in 2020. Most variables have already lost their empirical support, but a handful still perform reasonably well. Overall, the predictive performance remains disappointing. I'll explain what that means here in just a second. A large number of papers predicting the equity premium have been published in top finance journals. It thus seems that academic finance has conquered the problem of investors predicting time-varying future stock returns. Many of these papers have further offered strong theoretical foundations for the proposed variables, presumably increasing faith in their forward-looking stability. Our own paper examines the 29 variables. We can replicate and confirm the principal in-sample findings for all but 2 of the papers. Using a simple but consistent predictive framework have been controlled. We then extend the samples by a few years, ending with stock market returns in December 2020. Because our paper reuses the data that the authors themselves had originally used to discover and, quote, validate, unquote, their variables and theories, all that the predictors had to do in the few years added was not screw it up, and the original results should hold. Yet we find that most variables have already lost their predictive ability. Of 29 variables, 25 show lower in-sample significance when we use our extended sample periods instead of the author's original sample period. Only 4 variables predicted about equally well or better. The widespread deterioration in predictive performance partly reflects the fact that the added years offered greater variety. There were 3 recessions, these episodes could influence either an independent predictor variable or dependent predicted equity premium enough to make a difference. Our paper investigates not only whether variables had good or statistically significant in-sample or out-of-sample performance, but also the investment timing. All right, basically what they're saying is not a single variable, check this out, not a single variable meaningfully, much less statistically, beat the buy and hold equity investment. All these fancy schmancy good time rock and roll professors, with all the research, all the money, not a single variable meaningfully, much less statistically, beat buying and holding in the total stock index. I mean, can we stop with a trailing 200, trailing 200 days? Can we stop with freaking managed futures? Can we stop with this, that, and the other, short that? Stop. Buy the doggone market, watch your fees, and be done. Obviously, have some cash too. But just you're not getting ahead. You're not, man. It's silly. Stop it. And then you should see these variables. I'm like, no one's going to follow this stuff. I mean, I can't even have them. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. No one's going to beat the markets, man. It's not possible. Don't even try. Just capture the market returns with the amount of risk you can take and be done with it. What's so hard about that? If you just did this, the industry would be so much cheaper and there'd be so fewer financial prognosticators that we could focus our brains on maybe going back to the moon and figuring out how to deal with the Van Allen radiation belt, and figuring out how to go 17,000 to 25,000 miles an hour. And not a level velocity either, just as an FYI. I had to stick it in there. I just find it so. Spent all our time on how can we beat the market. I beat the market, Josh. Yeah, did you? Yeah, it cost me 2 cents or 20 cents on the dollar, but I beat it. Well, then you didn't beat the market because the market didn't cost me anything. All right. Oh, right there. A coworker friend asked me recently why I'm so happy all the time. I said, no debt, exercise, vitamin D, freedom from a schedule. I could see the fears in her eyes thinking, oof, the fear. Sad, Marie. 100%. I bet the 20%. I have 100%, Rick. Exactly. 100%. Total stock or bust, man. Yeah, look, and this is funny because there's French FAMA, all these variables of evidence-based investing. Oh, I just want to take an anvil and drop it on my head. And I am a sucker for dividend stocks. I'm not going to lie to you. I am a sucker. In that paper, they analyze dividend growth models and all this. Just buy the doggone index and be done with it. However, even to my chagrin, I can't get over my bias in favor of dividend stocks. I can't. I was raised on that idea, on the French FAMA stuff, the 3 factors, which is now a million factors. It was low price books, high dividend yields, and low PE. That was what I was raised on. That's what I'll forever be. I can't help it. It's in my blood. Dividends, dividends, dividends. I'm not trying to beat the market. I just don't care. I literally could care less. I don't even know what's the market doing today. I don't know. Let's take a gander. The market looks like we're 10-year treasuries at 3.6. My goodness, my inflation is going through the roof on my housing cost. Why? Because it's part of CPI. It's 40% of CPI. Oh, you have a fluctuating mortgage that changes every day? No. Oh, you have owner equivalent rent? Oh, by the way, I don't have it here. Don't tell anybody. The shadow stats that everyone refers to, shadow stats. Yeah, it's going to be part of my book. That's going to be part of my book. I actually agree with a lot of the shadow stats. I guarantee if we got together drinking pints of Guinness, we would agree 75% of the time. Guaranteed. They're making huge mistakes on their stuff on inflation. They think inflation averaged 10% for the last 20 years. And they think inflation averaged less than 5% for the previous 20. I literally don't understand that. I mean, I get what they say. I get their mechanism for determining that. They say this is what caused it. It's crazy to me. They literally think the last 20 years, from 2002 to today, inflation's averaged 10% per annum. In the previous 20 years, inflation was half that. I chuckle at that, man. I'm sitting there thinking, and people fall for. I mean, it's not. They're not. I don't think they're not nefarious. They're not scoundrels at all. Not in the least. I just think they're dead wrong. 100%, they're dead wrong. It doesn't. And it's weird, man. Like, how are you coming up with that? It's weird because they even bash OER, owner's equivalent rent, which I completely agree with. But that's what makes inflation over. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, we both agree OER is stupid and how much it costs to basically rent out your house. Why would that be part of CPI? It doesn't make any sense. We both agree with that. Their solution, though, is to say inflation's way up here. I'm like, what? This is the weirdest thing. Here's inflation when you factor in the change with the OER, and they think, oh, because that change, we think inflation's way up here. But that doesn't make any sense. It's the weirdest thing. And I'm not. One guy said, oh, you don't like what they say, so you're banging them. I'm like, no, not in the least. I just think they're dead wrong. Just because I think they're dead wrong doesn't mean they're crooks or anything like that. I enjoy the friggin' debate. If people are willing to actually have a debate as opposed to, I fall for that sometimes too. Dividend growth stocks. VDIGX is talking. Oh, check this out. Talking to a guy the other day. He converted, I don't know, maybe I can't remember, $100,000. I don't even know what it was. Probably less than that in 2000. Remember back in the old days when they first introduced Roth in 1997. Anyone remember who Roth is named after? One of you guys, I know one of you guys know. Where's the Roth named after? Who remembers that? It's a 15-second delay, so I'm going to check my email while you guys are thinking about it. Who's the Rothschild? Good one, Jeremy. That's funny, man. That is funny. Rothschild, that is funny. You know what, Roth, man? Rothschild. You don't even want to know. It's actually pretty interesting. The how that name came about is crazy. All right, so no one else saying. So Senator Roth, yes, sir. So Senator Roth from Delaware. Bill Roth, William Roth from Delaware. Roth IRAs are named after him. So Clinton, not Delaware, Andrew Delaware. So Clinton signed the Roth legislation. So in 1997, you can convert all your IRAs to Roth IRAs. There was income limitations. Bill Roth, yeah, exactly. There's income limitations, but if as long as you stay with those income limitations, you could convert, and it was pretty low, but that was 25 years ago. Anyway, you could pay taxes over 4 years, if that makes sense. It was a smoking deal. It's fantastic. Anyway, I wasn't making crap. I didn't have any money in my IRA, so I did that, and I paid my little taxes over 4 years. It was nice. Kind of pain in the ass. It was 8606. He had to fill it. It was kind of a pain. But anyway, long story short, this guy had converted, I can't remember, 50, $100,000 into his VDIGX. Well, you could convert more than 2,000 per year. You just could only contribute 2,000 per year. You could convert more than that. You just had to have your income could have been over, I think, 150 if you're married or something. I just off the top of my head, I can't remember. I remember I wasn't coming anywhere near that, so for me, it wasn't a big deal. And that income was contingent on the amount you were converting as well. So if you're a freaking Joe Rich guy, you couldn't just convert everything because there were income limitations. Anyway, long story short, so this guy converted, I'll say $50,000 in 2000. Now it's worth like $500,000 in VDIGX, completely tax free. He's up in Michigan. I was like, dude, so I'm running this financial planning for him. I'm like, damn. So how'd you get so much in Roth IRAs? I just converted. Remember I was like, dude, you're the man. Now, anyway, it's fantastic, and he's all worried crapless about half Whitmer taking his taxes. I said, dude, your taxes are basically nil. I mean, it's not quite nil, but it's pretty doggone close. You're paying like 6% income tax. Yeah, just for every $100,000 that you consume, you're going to 6,000 is going to the feds, and hardly anything is going to half Whitmer. I said, dude. Anyway, it's fantastic, and he's he knew this before I came along. He's like, I just felt I should always pay the taxes in advance because I have the money and the wherewithal to pay them. I might not have the money and the wherewithal to pay them in the future. At the same time, I need the money. I completely agree. Pay the taxes now. We have the resources to do it because you don't know what the future holds. In the future, you might not have the money in which to pay the taxes, but you still need the income off those accounts. So pay them now and get them behind you, man. And people are like, oh no, I got a spreadsheet until I'm blue in the face. I said, man, your spreadsheet doesn't show what happens in the future. And I says until I'm blue in the face. In 2008, your house went down, your freaking investments went down, and a lot of us lost their jobs. Hey buddy, thanks, babe. The big three. So your property value went down, and you're probably upside down. You lost your job, and you're going to say, I'm going to rely on my retirement accounts to pay the bills, and they were down 57%. So now you got retirement accounts down 57%. Your house is underwater. They pulled their equity line of credit from you. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have a job. That happened. It was only 15 years ago. I can't believe that. Guess what? If you have no debt, you can ride that a whole lot easier than if you have debt. I lived through this. I'm telling you, this is my depression, my Great Depression. Now, thankfully, it didn't sink the ship, but it was freaking close, dudes. It was close. I'm telling you, man. I'm sniffing. Oh, Finney's over there licking. You licking your toes? You licking your toes? All right. What's named after a redhead person? The Roth IRA or Rothschild? You want to see look up Rothschild. I think it's it's like Red Shield or something like that. So the story it's a crazy, man. The story behind the Rothschild is that the guy had like a gold shop. His name wasn't Rothschild. It was something else. He had a gold shop in Germany or something like that. He has a red shield above it. Rothschild. Isn't that interesting? And because they have this red shield, basically saying is save money, that became the vernacular for this guy. That the clan, the Rothschild. Roth is red in German, and it's Angie here. She'll be able to speak to that. Roth in German. In German is, I might be butchering this. Roths. I can't remember what it was. Man, it's very interesting. You should read about that. It's crazy. And then you had the Rockefellers. Oh, it's crazy, man. The history of the moneyed interests who run the world. How dare you, Josh? All right, let's see what we got. So Prairie Mark says, retirement seemed to come so soon for me. I'm glad I did. I was in my early 50s like Josh, and bang, I'm 65. Yeah, right on. Yep, the years from 50 to 65 go fast. That's no lie, man. It's crazy. The other thing that surprised me was how retirement funds increase after the kids are gone, and you are in your prime years. 100%, Mark. Like for me, I don't have nearly as much as a lot of the clients that hire me. It's funny. I always see on YouTube people say you should never hire a financial advisor who's poorer than you. I was like, oh, okay. Well, you're not gonna hire me because I guarantee I'm probably poorer than a lot of people that hire me. But anyway, the point being is that once you're in your prime years and the kids are out, you really focus like a crazy man on paying down your mortgage. Once that mortgage is gone, you know what I'm saying? All the extra money that you're using for your debts, if you're still making your income, you're going to do some of that money. And most likely you're going to sock it away. My intention, I don't know what my intention is. I mean, my intention is, hell, at some point, if YouTube allows, I mean, for me, it'd be nice once the mortgage is paid off. It'd be nice just to do videos, not take any clients anymore, and just do videos. Make $4,000 a month or something like that on the advertising I get from this and the sale of my books. That'd be pretty cool. With no debt, kids out of the house, I can live off $50,000 a year easy, man. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, what I want to. What I want to do and what reality is based on what the ball and chain out there wants to do are two completely different things. Charlotte, she sold this meme. I just went out to the shop for a second and there's like, I spent $100. I said, yeah, that's kind of you, girl. She just went to Lowe's. $100 later comes, I was like, well, what happened? And she was, I know. I said, yeah, we're going to have to lock you up, sister. All the women out there are like, how dare you? That's what's it called? Misogynist to lock up your wife. My wife should be barefoot and pregnant. That's where she should be, in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, not going to Lowe's, not going to Home Depot, not going to Target. She should be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. That's where my wife should be, and she's not. So who do you think wears the pants in this family, dude? It ain't me. It's funny. Let's just put it this way. We didn't get along with a neighbor at one point, and she actually texted a group text and and said, yeah, we can tell who wears the pants in the Scanlon family. I chuckled. I said, man, I don't care. Does people think I'm offended at the idea that Charlotte, if people think that offends me, that people say we can see who wears the pants. Look, ultimately, when it comes to like authority, I suppose it's on me. But it's not. Who cares? Actually, I got to tell you a story about Charlotte today. Oh my goodness. So check this out. So apparently, one of her outlets, when the light switches was out, was the thing was off. The cover. And it was like an exposed, I don't know if it was like a short, like the circuit was open or something. I'm not sure. But anyway, apparently there was like an exposed wire. So she got her little brother to wet his finger and go touch it. This is like when Charlotte was 10. So Danny must have been like 6 or something like that. So Charlotte said, all right, let's do this. Let's see if electricity travels through people. So Danny, you stand there, wet your finger in this, I guess, a bucket or something like that. Touch it, and we'll be touching you, and we'll see if it travels through us. Anyway, so Danny did that, and he got zoinked. He's like, ah! And nothing happened. Then they said, do it again, because we want to see if electricity travels through people. I was like, holy crap, man. I said, let me guess, Charlotte, you came up with that idea. Yeah, sure enough. I said, and her older brother did it. Her older sister did it. I was like, and here you are worried about our kids. You're lucky your freaking brother's alive, man. Oh man, it's funny. Yeah, barefoot pregnant, man. Barefoot pregnant. That's where Charlotte should be. And she says, "Yeah, I've already done that. Not doing it again, there, guy." Oh man. Don't think I've seen living 20% below your means while employed compares to earning 80% of your working income in retirement. Okay. I'm not sure what you're. I don't get it, man. I'm not sure what you're saying. 20% of your income. I don't care about. I just don't care. It's Rashid Taleb. All these people are fools. Actually, I got in a debate with this guy on locals on the Viva Frei locals channel. Um, I just was chuckling how I got banned off Powerline blog. You know, they're pretty. I like Powerline blog. I've been reading it for a long, long time. You know, every now and again I've supported them. But anyway, I'm not sure how I got banned, but I'm sure it's because I challenged the establishment Republican narrative. And some guy says, and so I said, how I voted for Perot because Bush was a clown, George Bush Sr. I said I couldn't vote for the guy. I think I actually ended up. I think I did end up voting for Perot. I remember thinking, but because I was a big Buchanan guy. This guy says, Perot cost Bush. I said, no, Bush cost Bush. He goes, you don't know your Republican history. I said, the hell's I don't do. Do you not remember Manchester Union Ledger supporting Buchanan? Do you not remember Buchanan winning the New Hampshire primary? The 30 to 35% primary vote he was carrying. A lot of those people weren't voting for Bush. They weren't. They voted for Perot, or they didn't vote at all. Simply because Bush sold them out, man. Bush said no new taxes, and he gave us taxes. Now, I was just young, dumb, and stupid. I just got out of the Army, so I wasn't like I was paying any taxes anyway. But it's like, if I can't trust you to hold firm on the no new taxes thing, I can't trust you at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I did vote for Bush. I think I ended up voting. I don't think I could. I had a pro bumper sticker for a while. He went kind of nuts, but I was like, I couldn't pull the trigger for Bush, man. Couldn't do it. I didn't vote for Bob Dole in 1996. I voted for Harry Brown, who was a libertarian. But I campaigned for all kinds of Republicans. George Allen, I campaigned hard for him in 1993. George Allen and Mike Ferris campaigned like crazy for them. In 94, all kinds. Kyle McSlero in the 8th District in Virginia, which is Jim Moran owned because it was it was right outside Alexandria, Virginia. But anyway, so those guys, I was like, no, the problem is the Republican establishment is literally no different than the Democrats, man. It's literally the same thing. These are just big. Remember, the RNC and the DNC are private entities. You are not allowed in if they don't want you there. This is when he actually Sundance over the Conservative Treehouse does this on occasion. Where he talks about these are private clubs. These private clubs determine who runs our country, if that makes sense. And if you aren't invited into the private club, you will not run the country. Thus, only people in the private club get to say who run the country. And when you see it like that, it's all to enhance the private clubs, the plural, the DNC or the RNC. That's it. It's all for that. All to serve the private clubs. That's why Bernie Sanders sold us, so I get it. But that's why they can't allow Trump. You know what I'm saying? They were surprised to get Trump. They're working on DeSantis now, that's for sure. I mean, he already got $10 million from a hedge fund manager who wants to be his Treasury secretary. I'm not saying Trump was immune to all that, by the way. He got $1 million from Pfizer. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you're not in the private club, you're not running the show. Thankfully, Trump had his own money in which to take it to the streets, but that's very rare, man. And anyway, the point being is the big establishment is one big establishment. And if you're not invited, you're not part of it. And that's where when I got banned by Powerline, I was like, dude, that's crazy. I don't cuss. certainly don't use ad hominem. I say your argument's idiotic. That doesn't mean you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Being ignorant of something doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you just don't know. Now, there are people who are belligerently ignorant. They want to remain stupid. They do. They want to remain. If you're belligerently ignorant, you're making a choice to be dumb on an issue. Whereas if you're ignorant, that just means you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, exactly. Look at the true reason to try to shut down Maine law. 100%, man. It's freaking. Look at, and that's what my man Josh. This guy's a lobsterman up in Maine. I don't know how many generations, but he's got. It's a mom and pop shops. Where's Susan Collins? Freaking nowhere, dudes. Susan Collins freaking sitting on her thumb and spinning. She can kiss my big fat behind. Angus King, think he gives a rat's behind? Hell, he doesn't. I mean, I got to tell the freaking stupid Janet Mill. I don't know what's LePage doing, Josh. Is he, yeah. So look at that. Shield is signed in German. Yep. And rots or what rot or something like that. That's red. How do you say what's red in German, Angie? Because I think it's rot, right? So it'd be red shield, exactly, a red sign. Rot is red in German. All right, right here. My last bit of wisdom is to say you don't get divorced late in your working career when you split it all in your late 50s. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. I've heard that. I've seen that happen a bunch, actually. Oh, yeah, she really is. I'm lucky to have her, Annette. She choose me. Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing is like it's us versus them. It's so freaking stupid. And when you're in a relationship with someone that you love and respect, it's neither or. It's both. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, you wear the pants and no one thinks like that. If they do, they're idiots. My man Jeremy says he regrets voting for Collins. Yeah, but the point being, it wouldn't have been any difference, Jeremy. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. They're going to get theirs. Why is a California environmental group trying to shut down Maine lobstering? It doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out. It's because they want to freaking put windmills in the freaking Atlantic Ocean, the North Atlantic Ocean. As I actually watched my man Michael Jan, he did a video on Austria, and freaking, it's just windmills everywhere. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Like, dude, and they want to do that in Maine. You can see it a mile away. And the way to do that is to put the lobstermen out of business and, to save the right whale, save the clock tower. I heard Biden did not represent Murkowski. Oh, Alaska, vote against her, man. Yeah, your life is good when your spouse pulls in the same direction you want to. Yeah, and who knows, man? Maybe Charlotte one day wake up and say, I don't know. I mean, you don't know what the future is. Who knows? Someday Charlotte could easily say, I want the pool boy. He's got a 6-pack. I said, what? I got an 18-pack. Come on, babe. I got an 18-pack. Anything else you guys want to talk about me? All right. I'm not sure what MC is. Montgomery County. Yeah. Well, haven't we all, Mark? Haven't we all? Haven't we all? Watching using a signal booster looking over the lake as deer pass. Wow, that's how dare you? How dare you, man? Why got rub it in? Look at this guy rubbing it in. We should go up there and protest in front of his house. We'll say he called a Duke volleyball player a bad word. That's what we should do. We'll go find Michael's house in North Wisconsin and say he called a Duke volleyball player a bad word. We're gonna protest. Yeah, that's what we should do. Yeah, we're gonna take back the House. I think the Senate's looking better. And look, I throw in with the Republicans. I recognize how silly that is, but like I was talking to a guy, a friend of mine I used to know in high school, and we haven't communicated about 20 years. But I still consider my friend. What were we just talking about taking back the. So I told him, I said, look, I still vote for the Republicans because when you vote for the Democrats, you're basically saying I'm giving my soul away, if that makes sense. I'm allowing the beast access to me. I truly believe that. Republicans are less, but the one way to at least stand up and say, not today, Satan, is to vote for the Republicans. Literally. And I know that sounds like, you think that? No, I don't expect much of the Republicans. But voting for the Democrats, at least in this current climate, with the crazy pedo stuff that's going, I mean, it's just so much bad stuff, man. Voting for the Democrats is basically saying, I give it up. I give up my soul to the beast. And I won't do that. And thus I vote for the Republicans. As much as I can't stand them, I'll vote for them just because I cannot vote for the people who are pushing evil on us. And people say, I don't think people remember you don't remember the Chris Dodd, Ted Kennedy waitress sandwich? I mean, no one talks about that. They talk about Bob Packwood in Oregon. I was like, well, Packwood's a clown, but we had a whole lot worse clowns on the Democrat side. We had Robert Sheets Byrd, the Klansman, KKK Byrd. Remember Rush Limbaugh used to call him Sheets? That was so funny. I mean, I don't even know what Joe Biden was doing. And we do. We know that guy was up to corrupt sweat. Just scumbags. And there are a few on the Republicans, but it's almost like the Democrats, the majority. How did Mark Warner or Terry McAuliffe? Was it Warner or McAuliffe? I think it's Warner. He was the cell phone guy. I'm almost positive Mark Warner. How did he make all his money? By freaking stomping on poor Haitians. Same with Clinton, same with McAuliffe. It took advantage of these poor Haitians. Look, I'm not saying Dick Cheney didn't get rich on taking advantage of freaking poor Iraqis, Afghans, all that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, they are worse than we are. That's just a fact. So it's truly the less of two evils. That's what it comes down to. And it's not going to matter much because they're still part of the same corrupt system, but I cannot vote for the Democrats, and I have to vote. It's like I have to buy dividend stocks. It's who I am. I've been growing up on dividend stocks. I grow up all political. I will have to vote. I will vote for the R simply because voting for those guys is basically signing on to a death sentence of evil. There's no two ways around this, man. These guys are sick people. I mean, just look at that freaking little clown. Who's the guy that got banned from the Hollywood, and then they all clap for him, say, yeah, we want that guy back. And then Me Too came around. They're like, no, we don't want. I was like, these are evil people. Then I'm just telling, read this book by Mark Devlin, Devlin. It's all the music industry, entertainment industry, which goes hand in hand with the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Look at the Republicans. No, I'm not. Lisa Murkowski, I couldn't vote for her. No way. I'd just rather not vote. You know what I'm saying? I just could not vote for that woman. Susan Collins, after now, I couldn't vote for her either. Knowing what I know now with what she's doing to the lobster. She was able to go to a conference on wind energy, but she was not able to go to the conference where Angus King was and stupid Janet Mills were to try to at least give lip service to the lobsterman. So Susan Collins, you can kiss my big fat shiny behind. In fact, here's Pablo. Susan Collins. There's Susan Collins. Kiss that right there. Thanks, Pablo. Thanks for being my. Susan Collins can kiss that right there. Pablo's like, how dare you, Dad? How dare you? Oh, there we go. Yeah. Well, I don't think the Republicans are going to change much, but at least I'll feel better. Roman, that's it right here. But we're going to take back the House because the gerrymander. The House that's a sure bet. The Senate will be interesting. I read that Rick Scott thinks they could pick up 2 seats in the Senate. The table is stacked against the Republicans this cycle. We got, I think, 24 and they got 12, I think. 21 and they got 12. We got Wisconsin, we got Pennsylvania, a couple others that are tough to maintain. And then they got Nevada, Georgia. There's like 1 or 2 others. We should maintain Ohio with J.D. Vance. Now, there's a couple others that we have more vulnerable senators than they do, even though it's a midterm, which is unfortunate. But we'll win back the House, and that's fine. Remember, the last time the Republicans controlled both houses, Well, no, that's not true. This is under Obama. Under Clinton, we controlled the 94 and all the way through 2000. And you should see the M2 money supply then. Let me see if I can't find my chart on that. It's actually pretty interesting because the M2 money supply was dropping like a brick and water, man. I think this is it. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. So when the Republicans, whoa, Big Bear, Big Bear. Hold on a second. Why is it taking forever to share? Oh, we've got to share. Finn. That's Finny. Finny the dog's like, here we go. Let's see if I can't. What's that? No, not yet. You want to have him come outside? Oh. Let me show you real quick. All right. It's okay. It's okay, Big Bear. Big Bear in the big blue house. The big blue house. The big blue house. So the bear and the. Okay. You want to come here and give me a kiss? Want to come here and give me a kiss? You want to come here? Oh, okay. You can come here. So let me just show you this real quick. We're going to go down to my M2. Oh, right there. All right. So here is Clinton. No, it's 81. 1 second. We're going to go down to. All right. So here's this is the M2 money supply increase 5 point. Just make sure that's right. Hold on a second. I got to make sure that's inflation increase in money right here. M2. All right. So hold on, this will make sense here in just a second. So here's the increase in M2 in 1983, 12, 8. Oh, weird. 6.2 is inflation. Increase in money supply is 9. Increase in money supply goes to 12.6, and inflation went down. That's impossible. Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. When money supply increases, this is what got me banned off Powerline. I was trying to, some clown was sitting there thinking inflation is always a monetary policy. Has nothing to do with energy costs. It's like, anyway. So you can see right here, there's M2 increase in M2. All right, the increase in M2, and you can see it's increasing like a freaking madman, and yet inflation went down to 3.2. Even though here's inflation the year before when M2 money supply was less. The growth of M2. Isn't that weird? Oh, wait a second. Here's the growth of M2. The year before is at 8 to 7, and yet inflation at 13.5. Oh, wait a second. Here's the growth in M2 is even less than 8% the year before, and inflation is 11.4. Weird. Oh, wait a second. Here's M2 money supply growing in the double digits, and inflation is 6.5. Crazy. That doesn't make any sense. I thought there was a correlation between it growth in money supply and inflation. Oh, there isn't anything. If anything, it's a negative correlation. If anything, I'll show you here in just a second. That doesn't make sense, Josh. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk. It's freaking insane. All right, look, 5.8 inflation, money supply, growth in money supply, M2, 13%. Huh, weird. Growth in money supply, 5%, 5, and inflation's at 9.1. What? That doesn't make sense. Growth in money supply during Nixon, double digits again. Inflation is only 6.2. What? Wait, the money supply fell and inflation is 11%. What the hell? That can't possibly be. All right, the point being is these freaking people are fools. I'm sick of this crap. Anyway, so we're going to keep going. We're going to go down here. Holy crap. Growth in money supply, not very high. Holy smokes, not very high. Republicans take over. Not very, so check this out. Not very high. Inflation's at 3%. Now, money supply is growing because Republicans like to spend money. You can see money supply start growing. Yeah, inflation. Money supply is growing. Inflation. Money supply is growing. Inflation. Isn't that weird? It's almost like the correlation between the growth of money supply and inflation, not only is it not strong, it's almost a negative correlation. It's not, but there's nothing there. X does not equal Y. It does not make any sense. Point being is when Republicans controlled Congress, when the new Gingrich, the Republican Revolution came around in '94, for the first time in 40 years, Republican controlled the House, not just the Senate, but the House. They actually there's a balanced budget. There's hardly not much inflation to speak of. Money supply wasn't growing, inflation wasn't growing, but then the Republicans liked the idea of spending. The Clinton won re-election in '96. The Republicans said, we're going to spend. Money supply rapidly increased, and inflation still stayed low relative to historical standards. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. Anyway, the point being is that the Republicans take over the Senate and the House with Sniffy Joe in there. I have a feeling that the spending will probably be, actually, I don't know. I would say that, but then I saw what happened under Obama with Boehner and Ryan. I don't know. My inclination to the spending probably won't slow down. So we're going to spend ourselves we're going to spend ourselves to death. 100%. The only way to improve the party right now is to get as many as possible, as many MAGA Republicans as possible. And I think we got a bunch this year. It's pretty good. There's a lot of establishment type Republicans who are frantic about how many MAGA Republicans have won primaries, and that's good. I'm very glad of that. Yep, you're gonna see 40-year mortgages, 100%, Angie. That's happening, man. That's happening without question. That's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time. Poor politics. I'm not so sure about the Senate, Jill. I mean, look, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin we got two vulnerable Republicans, one vulnerable Democrat. All those were clean and fair. The cleanest and fair elections in all three of those states in 2020. Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Free and clear. And friggin' Brad Raffensperger is one. Secretary of State, and done crap to fix it. Fulton County is still run by far lefties. You should see our district attorney right now suing Trumpster. Literally, my district attorney in Fulton County is going after Trump. Let's just put it this way. Let's say Fulton County reverts to their 2020 methods. Do you think there's going to be anything changed? All right. I'm going to run myself there, Angie. So appreciate y'all being back. We'll see you guys on Sunday night. All right. Sunday night. And then Tuesday at noon. Appreciate it. God bless. We'll see you guys. Thanks.